Hey there, it's Sheryl with JuicingGardener.com. I am out in the garden doing planting and planting all my seedlings, and I have this cloning project going on that I haven't shown you yet, so I thought today I would show you the results. And what the whole idea about cloning is, it's also called propagating tomatoes or cloning tomatoes, is that you take a really healthy tomato plant, break off some parts, which I will tell you in this video what parts to break off and what not to break off, and then you stick them in the soil and you grow new plants. So theoretically and realistically, you will have free tomato plants for life. Because every year you'll grow a tomato plant, you'll cut off a branch, you'll grow another one, you'll save the seeds, dry them out, plant them for the next year, and keep going and going and going. Free tomatoes for life. Well, it's not totally free because you have to buy the first tomato, but hopefully someone will just give you the first tomato plant. So that's the concept of cloning. Okay, so there are 3 different parts of the plant that you could put in the soil. So I'm going to show you first the 3 parts, and then I'm going to show you my successful clones. Okay, the first is you could just break off the top. That's really that's really strong, and it may obviously slow the growth of your big plant down, but you can just take it off like you could cut it right here and then throw that out, or you could cut it right here. That would probably be strong enough, and then just put that in the soil in a specific way, which I'll show you. So that's the top. The second is you could just take this branch off, right? You would think you could take the branch off, but you're going to find out it may not work as well as you think. Nice, healthy branch, right? The third part is the sucker. Let's see if I can find a sucker here. The sucker is also, technically known as the growing tip. Let's see if I can focus there. Okay, and you have your main stem right here, and you have your branch of leaves, right? And what grows out in the middle right there is the sucker. Now these are small suckers, so I'm not going to break them off for you because I'm so early in the season, trying to find some other suckers in my other plants. Let's see if I have another one down here for you. See, I break some of them off. Right here are some beginning ones. Right there's a little one. So anyway, you get the idea. So of those 3 parts, I tested 2 of them, and 1 worked and 1 didn't. So let's go see what I did. Okay, here's my little growing station, which moves every day depending on what I'm putting in. So the first part were the stems. Not the top, not the sucker, but just the branch. I guess we'll call it the branch. We'll call this the leaf branch, because I haven't gone online and searched exactly what it's called. Now, this was the better boy. Really, it was a healthy, big branch. And this has been in the soil for at least 6 weeks. And what I thought would happen would be growth coming out right here, and that actually a new stem would grow, a main stem. No such luck. Here's another one. And these are all different kinds of tomatoes too. So it's not just the type of tomato. That was a Sun Gold 100. That was a Matt's Wild Cherry. Another Sun Gold and Matt's Wild Cherry. And this was the better boy and the better boy. So a lot of them didn't work at all. Like I stuck something maybe half this size in the soil and it completely died. So I have a good amount of those. But these survived, and the reason I'm keeping them is because they're so big and they're still growing and they're green and relatively healthy. Like they didn't just die off like the rest of them. So I'm dying of curiosity to see what happens if they ever do grow a plant, but clearly this is not the way to go. Okay? The way to go is, in my opinion, taking the suckers out, the growing tips. And this is what I did. Now, I didn't have a grow light. I just did them in outdoor light, so they're quite leggy, but that's easily remedied. In some of my other videos, you can see how I lay them down and kind of bend them in the pot and get lots of good root growth. But let me show you some of these. This is a Matt's Wild Cherry. And mind you, when I put it in the pot, it was no taller than from my finger down. It was just a little shrimpy guy. Little teeny, I didn't know to get bigger suckers. It was a little teeny sucker. Look how tall it is. Now it's a little leggy, like I said, but I can live with that. We can still make a nice plant out of it. Now this one is the Arkansas Traveler. Look at that. And it was no more than 1.5 inches when I put it in this size pot. And then mind you, some people, well, we'll go into how to plant them in a second, but some people put them in little teeny cells, which is fine and a really good idea. I just didn't have the time or actually the patience because it was just a quick experiment. I just stuck them right in these pots, this size pot, which may have made them more leggy than they should have been and not starting them off really strong in a little seed cell. I'm not sure, but I'm happy with this. 2 better boys right there. Look how nice and tall they are. And then these are kind of scrawny over here, the Sun 100. Those are cherries. But they're still going to make it. I'm going to plant them all at this size. I'm going to actually go in these big 4.5 gallon buckets. And I'm going to put 2 in each bucket. And they'll grow beautifully. So I am extremely happy with the cloning. Now some people will you'll hear all kinds of things on the internet. There's a million ways to do cloning or propagating, and they're all great. They all work. Some of them are more complicated than you need to be. Some will say that when you're cutting off the plant, you should just do, use a razor blade or sharp scissors. That's great. I just broke them off. And I know that's not why these didn't make it. I don't think a clean razor blade would have made any difference. Other people use rooting hormone, and I have not investigated what's in it, but I bet it is not organic or all natural, and so I don't want to put any chemicals on my plants. And other people put the sucker in water first, and then get the roots growing in water, and then transplant it into soil. But, I just think that's all extra steps you don't need to take. It's like break that sucker off, get a little pot like this, stick your finger in, make a hole, drop the sucker in, close the hole off, make it nice and firm, and water regularly, keep it nice and moist, and don't let it be out in the sun. Direct sun will kill them. And the first day after you plant the suckers, first couple days, they'll look like a train wreck. I mean, they look all wilty and, pouting and falling off the edge. Don't give up. You water them for a day or so, they will perk right back up. So that's my story on cloning. I'm thrilled with it. I'm going to dig a lot more into it, try different angles of it. Free tomatoes for life. What could be better than that? All right, give me a thumbs up on the video if you like the video. I sure appreciate that every time, and I appreciate your comments. Let me know how your cloning experiments are going, and if you are cloning, what's working and what's not, and what are your favorite cloning tips on how to plant those suckers in there. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see all my videos, and I love to see yours. So, comment down there so I can see what your channels are, and I'll come and join you and watch your gardening. It's a fun experience. Love to share it with you, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.